Some states require one spouse to pay alimony or financial support to the other spouse after a divorce, but there have been some recent legislative changes right here in Texas laws. Live at 5's family attorney Sonia Kaufman joins us now with details. Alimony, that's not something you hear of too much in Texas.
No, it's not a very favored thing in Texas at all, but this year the Texas legislature expanded the amount and the time that a spouse can get alimony after the divorce. It used to be that you had to be married 10 years, but 36 months was the maximum time that a spouse could collect alimony. Now the legislature has expanded that up to 10 years in the event of a very long marriage of 30 years or more. So there's a sliding scale in between, so it's worth looking at. And also the legislature expanded the amount. It used to be limited to $2,500 a month, and now the legislature has raised it to $5,000.
So is everybody going through a divorce, I mean, if they fit that requirement, eligible for alimony or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. The spouse has to show that they lack sufficient property to meet their minimum reasonable needs in order to qualify, and they have to show that they've been married at least 10 years. So not everyone will meet that parameter, but there are expanded options for people who do.
So if you fit in those parameters, you may want to check with your attorney before you follow through with that divorce.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's go to our KFDM News Facebook page. We've got several questions. When does common law take effect?
And I gather this reader wants to get out of a relationship before it does.
Yeah, he finishes up, so I'll know when to ditch her before he does.
Wow. Well, there is no time limit or time requirement as in some states. In Texas, someone can be informally married if they meet 3 criteria. And that is that they live together as husband and wife in the state of Texas, that they agreed to be married, and that they held out to others that they were married.
So if they just live together, a male and a female living together, that's not considered common law marriage?
Not enough. They have to have an agreement to be married, and they have to do something in furtherance of that, such as file a joint tax return as though they're married. So it's very easy to get in a common law marriage and very difficult to get out. You have to file a divorce just as if you were
married to this person.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, another question. I left my husband, moved to Texas. My ex is soon to be in a different state. How does that work?
How does it work as far as...
I don't know if they have children or not. If they have children, I'm assuming that would be an issue because the child or children...
As far as visitation, you're thinking. Most decrees that were entered in Texas have a rule that if the spouse lives 100 miles away, you go to a different visitation schedule. So presumably the decree would spell that out, and I would check the decree to find that out.
Okay, another question. Per my final decree of divorce, my ex-husband was ordered to pay me back spousal support and various bills. He told me he's not going to pay me. Is there anything I can do? How do I go about getting judgments against him?
Yes, there is something this viewer can do. She needs to file a petition for enforcement in the court that entered the divorce decree. And in that petition, she would recite the provision of the decree that he's not complied with and ask that he be held in contempt in order to pay that. If the court finds the spouse in contempt, the court can also order an award of attorney's fees at the same time.
Okay, so get in touch with your attorney.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Thank
We're out
you.
of time. But if you have a question about family law, you can let Sonia answer your questions. All you need to do is fax us 892-7305, email us at laf@kfdm.com, or you can post them on our KFDM News Facebook page.